kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
After an amazing finish last week at one of the biggest tracks on the schedule, we now come to one of the smallest tracks on the schedule in the Iowa Speedway for round number 5 of for round number 4 of the CleanRacing.net Truck Series. Tony Trapasso up in the booth with you tonight for this one. Thank you so much for making this a part of your evening. Hot lap session underway right now. Let's take a quick gander at come on. As soon as my live timing and scoring wants to play fairly with me. Sorry about this, folks. Technical difficulties all around, as has been commonplace as of late for some strange and unknown reason. Let's see if this works now. There we go. Taking a look at the point standings coming into tonight. Real tight at the top, real tight in the middle, and real tight at the bottom. It's a race fan's dream. Chris Worrell, Matt Batsby, and Nate Brown only separated by 3 points. Michael Anthony, only another 6 points back. Defending series champion Greg Barnett's only 5 markers back off of Mike. And Jeremy Morrison rounding out your top 6 at north of 100. Jeremy Moore right on his heels, as is Kevin Becker. Logan Banfield, 4 markers out. Parker Collins only another 2 back. 1 more back to Lane Hosler. And then you got a little bit of a breathing room from Lane back to Abram Gaston. Did not have the start to the season he was hoping for. He's currently tied with Brian Toole for 12th. Chris Smith only 1 marker back from them. Just your top 18 alone is just insane at how close some of these battles are. You know, a couple ties thrown in there for good measure. Sure, why not? As we are going to take a quick look at the weather conditions for tonight. Here you see it's 79-degree ambient air temperature, clear skies, partly cloudy skies anyways, 2-mile-an-hour wind. Pretty negligible here at Iowa. Not the highest we've seen, but, 2 miles an hour is still 2 miles an hour, and it could gust. But that 54% water grain in the air, that tells me that they are going to be making gobs of horsepower. And that's not necessarily a good thing when the track condition is 123 degrees. And you're reading that right. Track length, 0.89 miles. So just under a full mile to get around this joint. And I know I've mentioned this in previous broadcasts here. You have that little Legends Oval on the front stretch. And if you look in between turns 3 and 4 there in the infield, that's another oval that they use here to run late models. It's actually 3/8 of a mile in that place. So that is a fun little track. If you ever get a chance in the iRacing servers to give that a try, I highly recommend doing so. As practice getting ready to wind on down now, about 30 seconds left. Again, thank you so much for making us a part of your evening. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss a single moment of action here on Sim Racing Media. And it's taking a look at what is coming up right now. Over on the other stream, we have the SCL Cup Series as they go to Charlotte for 600 miles. Good grief. I cringe every time I hear those two phrases used together. But triple header tomorrow night as the AARL Trucker Speed America Cup Series are going to kick things off at 8:20 Eastern Time. I believe they're at, yes they are. They are at Bristol. About a half hour later, we go to the Rickmatech Cup Series, round number 13 at Daytona. And the Monster Energy NASCAR Racing League, or MENRL, is going to kick things off at 8:50. Qualifying underway right now, as bear with me here, as I'm trying to get my poop in a group. Oops, that's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Greg Barnett goes purple in the first sector as Parker Collins lays down the first time. Barnett's going to slide into second. Kevin Becker, Stephen Tuck, Jamie LaRoque. As we are going to check in with the defending series champion. There he is in the POW MIA Ford F-150. Just got bumped down to fourth quick as Matt Batby coming into tonight up there in the point standings. Currently sits quick time with a 23.71. That's hauling the mail here at Iowa. I don't care who you are. That is flying low. And a man making his debut in the CleanRacing.net Truck Series. You might recognize this name from Friday nights here on Sim Racing Media. Yes, that is the one and only Mr. James Lowe. Rocking a Toyota. And his teammate Chris Worrell also out on track right now as James with a good head of steam coming down the back chute here. Worrell took over the points lead after winning at Dega last week. His first lap for Lowe. It's going to slot him in second quick. Let's see what type of lap his teammate's going to be on. As there you see the Balls Garana number 97. Sideways off of 4, keeps it pointed in the right direction. It's going to cost him a little bit. Not a lot, though. As Worrell's going to slot into second quick now. About 4/10 off what Batby was able to lay down. Lane Hosler just finishing his. He's going to slot into 8th. Still waiting on Dan Sykes, Michael Anthony, Dominic Rossi, and Fred Garcia all to lay times yet. So 19 trucks making the call here to come to Hawkeye Country. And here we go. Business is picking up. That is the second of 3 Balls Garana, or the third of 3 Balls Garana Energy Toyotas here tonight. That is, of course, Michael Anthony. First full season for him, as both he and Chris Worrell came in a little bit late last season and unfortunately couldn't make a run at the championship. They ran out of time. Both finished in the top 15 in points, though, but now both trucks are in the top 5. So that's pretty impressive right there. Dominic Rossi also out on track in the 63. Let's see, first lap for Anthony. It's going to slide him 11th quick, going to try to pick up on the second lap. There is Rossi in the Black Rifle Coffee Chevy Silverado. Love that paint scheme, love that company. Veteran owned. And while I don't drink coffee, I'm told it's some of the best coffee on the planet. As Anthony's going to jump up to 5th quick on lap number 2. Let's see what Rossi does. Slots in 12th quick. Only 2 trucks left to try to lay a time here tonight, as that is going to do it for qualifying. So with qualifying done and dusted, let's take a look at tonight's starting grid. Starting up on the point is going to be the 85 of Matt Batby. He's going to be joined with your current point leader, Chris Worrell. James Lowe in his debut here with the series. He's going to be starting next to Parker Collins in row number 2. Michael Anthony and Kevin Becker making up row number 3. Greg Barnett and Chris Smith going to roll it from row number 4. Lane Hosler, perennial favorite here at Iowa. He's going to be rolling it with Stephen Tuck. Austin Carey and Dominic Rossi making up row number 6. Row 7 is going to see Jamie LaRoque and Kevin Hayes. Jeremy Morrison and Mike McCrae going to roll off in row number 8. And row 9, the last truck to lay a time, that's Mike McCrae. He's going to be joined with Dan Sykes in row number 8. No, sorry, row number 9. Fred Garcia starting shotgun on the field. So 19 trucks scheduled to roll it here tonight. As, bear with me here, as for some reason my live timing and scoring is not playing nicely with me. 160 laps of scheduled distance, 70% fuel fill, and they've got 4 total sets of tires to get them through tonight. This marks the 6th time that this series has come here to Iowa. Past winners, Joey Stiers. Can we notice a common theme here? Joey Stiers and Joey Stiers. 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 seasons. As we are just waiting for Fred to grid up. There is There we go. Chevy Silverado Pace Truck starting to roll it. Batby and Worrell starting on the front row. And I'm not sure how this is going to play out for the rest of the field, considering that both of Worrell's teammates are starting inside of rows 2 and 3. Look for those Balls-Garana trucks to get hooked up and hooked up early. As the field working its way through the 3-4 complex, lights are going to go out on the pace truck this time by. Again, 160 laps scheduled distance here tonight at Iowa. Thank you so much for making us a part of your evening. If you haven't done so already, give this video a thumbs up. It really does help. Share these videos with the YouTube algorithm. The more thumbs up a video gets, the more likely it is to show up on someone's homepage anytime they log into their YouTube account. As the lights do go out on the pace truck this time by. Again, that lap from Batby was just a scorcher. Heck, the lap for anyone in the top 5 would have put those trucks in the top 5 in the real world. Let that sink in with 125-degree track temperature. So as the field worked its way into the 3-4 complex, Batby going to have the button. Geico restart zone is in effect tonight. The only thing that's left for me to say is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab some popcorn. It's time to get it on in Iowa. Race fans, it's showtime! Batby jumps on the loud pedal as Parker Collins pushing Chris Worrell in second. Here comes James Lowe up the inside. Collins was looking to make it 3 wide there for a second. Let's get the triangle formation started as Collins now throws to the outside. They are 3 wide coming through 3 and 4. Worrell throws the slide job on Collins on the exit of 4. But Matt Batby going to lead lap number 1. Checking in with defending series champion. There is Greg Barnett. Just about to fall into the clutches of Stephen Tuck. There you see Tuck in the Liberty University Toyota Tundra. Dominic Rossi up into 13th already. I want to thank Fred Garcia for being in race control tonight and foregoing being on the track. This is really going to be helpful. Thank you so much, Fred, for doing that. And thank you so much, Fred, for everything you do for this league. As we are finally going to give you the ticker, as you know, we can't live without our ticker here. But, yeah, Batby, Worrell, and Collins, your top 3. A little bit of breathing room back to James Lowe. And Lowe is one of those drivers. You're going to learn this about him just as quickly as I did, folks. James Lowe knows how to save equipment. So he's letting those 3 young gunners in front of him, you know, get a getaway. Tommy checking in, pulling for his boy, defending series champion Greg Barnett. Tommy, always good to have you with us, sir. Let us know who you're pulling for tonight. We'll try to highlight your favorite driver throughout the evening. Right now, Batby shows the way in the Exalta number 85. Chris Worrell, Parker Collins, there he is in the Rowdy Energy Toyota. James Lowe in the SimCube Toyota. Michael Anthony in the Balls-Garana Toyota. And, you know, you got Kevin Becker and Matt Batby bookending this with Chevys. There is the Odyssey Chevy Silverado of, or the Bigfoot Silverado, Bigfoot Odyssey Silverado of Becker, driver for Brownie Racing. As Speaking of which, kind of notable that Nate's not here. Of course, he also told us last week he was not going to be here because his wife was probably going to do things to him that were going to be very unenjoyable if he interrupted their vacation to race this week. And let's leave it at that. Anyways, though, business starting to pick up for third. One of your closest battles on track, Parker Collins and James Lowe. About a truck length separate those two. Checking back here, battle for 13th. That's Jamie LaRoque in the Hendrick Cars Chevy on the top side. Jeremy Morrison on the low side, trying to make something happen here. Kevin Hayes in the 51 back there as well. Let's take a quick look at that truck of Hayes. And if my cameras want to play nicely with me, there we go. And of course, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And trying to bring awareness to a cause that I can promise you, ladies and gentlemen, you know someone who has battled breast cancer. And the biggest way to combat that battle and face it head on is, and this can happen to men too, so don't just think I'm saying ladies. Everybody needs to get tested. Get tested early, get tested often. That's the best thing you can do to take care of yourself, so you're around to hear my stupid voice for much longer. Wait a second. Is that such a good thing? Okay, find something you enjoy doing, and you'll be able to do that longer. You spend time with your family, spend time with your pets. Learn that new skill that you've been putting off. You're not going to be able to do it if it's too late. So get tested early and get tested often. That's basically what I was trying to get at there, folks. I'm going to step down off my soapbox now and continue this broadcast as Chris Worrell has caught Matt Batby. Yep. Batby trying to call his shot like he did a couple of weeks ago. The young gunner trying to hold off the... It seems weird to call Chris Worrell the old guard, but he's north of 30. Of course, I'm one to talk. I'm north of 45. So anyway, Batby, Worrell, Collins, Lowe, Anthony, your top five. Then you've got about a second separation between Anthony and Becker. Checking back in here, just outside the top 10. It's a battle for 12th between Jeremy Morrison and Dominic Rossi. That's Rossi on the top shelf, Morrison on the low side, trying to make something happen, going through 1 and 2, still door to door. Rossi going to use the momentum of that second lane coming down the back straightaway here. And just going to let Morrison go. Knows it's way too early to be putting that much pressure on someone. Checking back in here in the top 5. That's Collins and Lowe going after each other. And then right behind them, Hosler's going after Becker. Good grief. Battle just inside the top 10 is 9th and 10th. Chris Smith has it on the top side. Austin Carey wants it from the low side. And they both have to be careful because that's Stephen Tuck who'd like to pass both of them right there stalking. And now that Morrison has gotten clear of Rossi, he's trying to get into this fight for 10th. Checking back in. Lowe looking to the inside of Collins coming through the tri-oval. Lowe needs to get that truck to rotate, bouncing through the corners. Both of them are. A lot of room given. Nobody pinching up, nobody pinching down. A lot of respect being shown here tonight in the early going of round number 4 of the CleanRacing.net Truck Series from Iowa. Tony Passo up at the booth with you for Sim Racing Media. Thank you so much for making us a part of your evening. We are so happy to bring these races to the masses week in and week out. Let us know you enjoy what we're doing by giving these videos a thumbs up. It really does help share these videos with the YouTube algorithm. The more thumbs up a video gets, the more likely it is to show up on someone's YouTube homepage when they log in. So James Lowe stalking Parker Collins. This is your battle for third, still door to door. Toyota on Toyota crime right now, as the Chevy of Batby leads the Toyota Worrell, and then you're about 3/4 of a second back to this battle for third between Collins and Lowe, and Michael Anthony starting to inch in to throw his hat into the ring for this fight as well. Checking back in battle for 11th, that is Morrison looking to the inside of Tuck. Morrison just dives it going into 1. Going to pick off the 10 of Tuck. Now sets his sights on trying to reel in Austin Carey, who's running in 10th. Checking back in with Greg Barnett. There he is. He's got Kevin Becker right in front of him. No real pressure from behind right now is Chris Smith. A 2.25 to the rear. As there's Batby and Worrell. This is what we've seen them do pretty much all season so far. They've been the fly in each other's ointment, if you will, to quote my father. But fly in your Chardonnay, if you will, whatever you want to say. But those two guys kind of going after each other with a lot of respect being shown both ways. Here comes Anthony to the top side on Lowe coming through the tri-oval. He's going to get the pull off of Parker Collins. Collins going to take the middle lane coming through the corner. Anthony goes high. James Lowe goes low. Yeah. There you see that battle for third, hot and heavy. Worrell was trying to make a run coming off of 4 as Batby had it well spotted. Going to hold him off for now. Checking back in this battle for 10th. It's Chris Smith in the Mobile 1 Toyota on the top side. The O Canada Toyota on the low side. That is Jeremy Morrison. Morrison trying to make it happen right now. Sideways off of 4 for Morrison. That's going to cost him a little bit of momentum, and that's going to open the door for Stephen Tuck to get a run on him, depending on how quickly Morrison can get that momentum back. Checking back in up here in the battle for third, fourth, and fifth. Anthony works to the inside of Lowe. As they're both trying to figure out what they need to do to not only get to, but get around Parker Collins. And I think the more this run wears on, you're going to see that that second lane pay higher and higher dividends. Simply because you're not having to pinch the truck off quite as much as you would otherwise. Greg Barnett now pestering Kevin Becker. It's Barnett in the PWMIA Ford F-150. Becker in the Bigfoot Chevy. Why does my brain hurt all of a sudden? Anyone else see a problem with this? Gonna need to talk to Nate about that one. No. It's almost as bad as the league I broadcast tomorrow night, where we're going to see a GM Goodwrench number 3 Ford Mustang. Yeah. Let that one marinate, folks. Because I smelt burnt toast and my left side goes numb every time I have to say that phrase. Coming up on some lap traffic now. That is your battle for third. Lowe has the advantage. He's going to try to use Mike McCray as a pick as they split him going through the tri-oval. Parker Collins flirting with that wall. Collins and Lowe still side by side for third. And I don't think this battle is anywhere near finished. Again, 70% fuel fill here tonight at Iowa. 0.8 of a mile, just about 0.9 of a mile to get around this place. Going to be one of the shorter tracks we go to all season. Matt Batby, Chris Worrell, Parker Collins, James Lowe, Michael Anthony, your top 5. Then you're almost a full second. We're closing in on a full second. Back to Lane Hosler in 6th. And then he has 2 3/4 seconds to back to Kevin Becker in 7th. So there you see Hosler. Basically the entire length of the back straightaway is the distance between Hosler and Becker. About half a straightaway to that battle for third. So there's Hosler, there's Becker. Pretty decent sized gap there. It's Kevin Hayes and Rossi going after each other. It's Dominic Rossi in the Black Rifle Coffee number 63. 63. Mike McCray in the Breast Cancer Awareness number 51 right in front of him. Checking back in here, that is Becker and Barnett going after each other. Becker on the way top side. It looks like he's already gotten into the wall. You can see some right front damage on that Chevy as Hosler trying to keep his Ford clean here tonight to get that all-important bonus point. Barnett throws it to the inside. Going to use Mike McCray as a pick down the back straightaway. McCray stays high. Barnett dives down low. Becker has to stab the brake to get behind Barnett to get clear of McCray. Now goes back on the attack. Meanwhile, though, Barnett up into 7th. Your defending series champion. Nice solid run. Currently running where he qualified, trying to keep that truck clean. Of course, the same can be said right now for everybody in the top 5. Batby, your pole sitter, runs in first. Chris Worrell started second, runs second. James Lowe started inside row number 2, currently sits in third. Parker Collins started to his outside, sits in 4th. And there's Michael Anthony rounding out your top 5. And Lane Hosler is now making his way to throw his hat into this boxing ring. Working lap 40 of 160 here tonight. Battle starting to heat up here for 10th. Chris Smith has it as they work their way around Mike McCrate's Pennzoil Nuclear Banana. Down the back straightaway, almost 3 wide. McCrate wisely jamming on the binders to get out of that situation. The 75 of Morrison almost catches the apron, trying to take evasive action. A little bit sideways coming off of turn 4. That's going to cost him a little bit of room. As now, here comes Michael Anthony to the inside of Parker Collins going into 3. Lane Hosler up on the top side with Collins. Anthony going to throw the slide job. No room at the end. Tried to slam the door. Parker Collins kicked it wide open. And that opens the door for Lane Hosler as well to get by Anthony. Anthony not going to be a happy camper right now. As Batby, Worrell, Lowe, Collins, Hosler, Anthony, your top 6. Throw a blanket over 4th, 5th, and 6th, though. Hosler gets a 2 for in 1 lap there as he's now up into 4th. Collins battles back on the inside going into 1. Both those guys kind of just sending it. So here's your closest battle, 4th, 5th, and 6th, all right there on top of each other. Yeah, Nate, you confused me there. Nate Brown checking in the live chat on the YouTube side, saying that his wife also asked him why he wouldn't paint Bigfoot as a Ford. Yeah, Nate, you say no one in their right mind would race a Ford. How about defending series champion Greg Barnett? I'm just going to leave that there for now. I'll let you and Tommy fight that one out. So action's starting to quiet down a little bit. Just a little bit. The closest battle on track is going to be that one right there between Stephen Tuck and Jeremy Morrison. A little Toyota and Toyota action. That's the one thing I have noticed about the fields here in the CleanRacing.net Truck Series. They usually skew Toyota heavy. It's actually pretty evenly split tonight between the Chevy bow tie and the Toyota emblem, with two blue ovals in the field. Of course, going to be fourth place Lane Hosler in the Hosler Fencing number 61, and of course defending series champion Greg Barnett in the POW MIA Ford F-150. Need to thank our good friends over at the RingsideReport.net for all your boxing, MMA, wrestling, Muay Thai, kickboxing, Taekwondo, any of your combat sports for that matter. You need to check out RingsideReport.net for all your up-to-date information. It's Chris Smith and Austin Carey going after each other. Carey, for some reason, Carey's off the pace right now. Stan Sykes getting ready to go a lap down to those guys in the U-Haul Silverado. Carey getting the momentum back, starts to battle back on Chris Smith. Yet more Toyota on Toyota action. And this is your closest battle on track. As I'm going to go out on a limb and say probably within the next 10 laps, we should see the first takers going down pit road. Working lap 50 of 160 here tonight from Iowa. Thank you so much for making us a part of your evening. It's Tony Trasso in the booth with you for round number 4 of the CleanRacing.net Truck Series Season 13 here at Iowa Speedway. Matt Batby currently shows the way there. He is picking his way through traffic. He's already lapped up to Kyle McCrate, who gave him fits last week at Talladega. There is Kyle in that Verner's Chevy. Down on the low side, not having a good time of it. That leaves us with 14 trucks left on the lead lap. 2 3/4 seconds back to Chris Worrell in second. Then you're another 1.5 back to Worrell's teammate James Lowe. Another 2.25 back to Lane Hosler in fourth. Another 2.5 back to Michael Anthony in fifth. And another 2 1/4 seconds back to Parker Collins. Greg Barnett starting to reel Collins in, as that gap has come down to under 1.5 seconds now. And Kevin Becker's 3 3/4 seconds is Batby, the first one to flinch, going to bring it pit side. There he is, coming down pit road. That's going to hand the lead of the race over to Chris Worrell. All-important bonus point for that Balls Garana number 97. And I would expect to see, especially with the tire fall off being almost 2 full seconds, I would expect to see all 3 of those Balls Energy trucks come down pit road just about simultaneously. And just as I say that, Michael Anthony, the first one in that group to pit, as we're seeing wholesale pit stops right now. Chris Worrell, James Lowe, Kevin Becker, Stephen Tuck, and Kevin Hayes, the only 5 who have not come down pit road yet. Worrell peels off sideways at the commitment cone. Hands the lead of the race over to the series debutant, James Lowe. And it's safe to assume that Aunt Mary's going to be watching. How you doing, young lady? Always good to have you with us as well. Lowe finally going to bring it pit side this time. It's going to leave Stephen Tuck coming out of turn 2 as Michael Anthony on the fresh shoes. He's got a little bit of time to make up on Matt Batby, and doing so rather quickly. So there is Tuck, your leader. Does get credited with leading a lap. Effective race lead is going to go to the man who flinched first, the undercut being so huge here tonight. Matt Batby currently runs in second place as everybody except Stephen Tuck has been down pit road already. Worrell 4.5 seconds back off of Batby right now. And there was only a 2-lap difference between those two guys. Stephen Tuck finally peels off. So you're watching the effective race lead right now, and that is the 85 of Matt Batby. Chris Worrell, though, has something to say about it as he just went purple in the first sector. As Batby takes the lead back over, Worrell, fastest lap of the race so far, and one of only 3 drivers to go sub 24 seconds here tonight. Anybody want to take a guess who the other 2 are? Checking back here is Lane Hosler, giving Parker Collins all he can handle right now. And it's a completely different Lane Hosler than we have seen in the past couple of seasons here in the CleanRacing.net Truck Series. Normally Lane's one of those guys that kind of lays back, lets the race come to him. He has been on the attack as of late. He's really been going after it, and the results are showing. And hats off to him, because I've tried to change my driving style and I can't do it. I'd rather bring the truck home in one piece than just, here's the steering wheel. Sorry about the rest of it. That's not an easy thing to explain to a team owner. But being as it's the iRacing server and Hosler is the team owner, he can do that. And there is Kevin Hayes and Chris Smith going after each other. That is your battle for 10th, as Hayes has it in the 51. Smith wants it from the 14. Right in front of him, that is Batby and Lowe. Lowe was running in third, and I'm thinking he had problems with pit road, because he is now currently sitting all the way back in 16th, 2 laps down. And unfortunately for him, they don't call this the CleanRacing.net Truck Series for nothing. As I'm looking back at the previous races here at Iowa, 5 races and a grand total of 5 cautions. Nope, I take that back. A grand total of 7 cautions in 5 races. Let that math sink in, folks. And 3 of those races were caution-free. So these guys definitely know how to get this one done. Checking back in with Jeremy Morrison and Austin Carey as they continue their little slugfest. Morrison, currently your biggest mover in the positive direction at +7, currently runs in 8th, as that is Becker right in front of him. But, you know, I can pick on Nate all I want because I know Nate's a good guy because, you know, he's from the greater Syracuse Metroplex. A lot of damage on that Bigfoot Chevy. Wouldn't have that if it was a Ford. But, Nate, I know you're watching, I know you're listening, thank you so much for tuning in, but I got to ask you this question, and feel free to let me know in the live chat. Does your left arm go numb too when you say the phrase out loud, GM Goodwrench Ford Mustang? My left side completely goes numb every time I say that phrase out loud. Morrison in a slugfest right now with the lap truck of Jamie LaRoque. LaRoque now has to deal with James Lowe. Lowe has had speed. That was for position, by the way. Lowe and LaRoque both 2 laps down. Lap and a half, anyways. Your current free pass position truck, though, is that man in the 51. It's Kevin Hayes, the first truck 1 or more laps down. He sits in 10th. Let that one marinate, folks. As we're not even to the halfway mark, and Matt Batby and company have already lapped up to 8th. Jeremy Morrison in the 75 is the last truck being scored on the lead lap. So now Hayes and Carey going after each other. No quarter asked for, no quarter given between those two. Well, that was our closest battle on track. Checking back in with the 25 of Becker. He's got the 75 of Morrison and the lap truck of James Lowe right there with him. And Tommy checking in. Yeah, I feel like I'm having a stroke every time I say those words put together like that. But in the driver's defense, the front of the Mustang, the way he has it painted in most circumstances, it looks like the old mid-90s Luminas, or the early 90s Luminas, I should say, like the Days of Thunder era cars. Checking in, battle for 11th. That's Stephen Tuck and Chris Smith going after each other, as they've got Chris Worrell right in front of them. That is second place, as Mike McCrate getting up and out of the way. McCrate not having a good time of this one. Currently sits in 16th for the Nuclear Banana of McCrae. There he is on the right of your screen there. Back in 16th. Smith and Tuck still going after each other. As Worrell goes to the inside of Austin Carey. Now sets his sights on trying to reel in Batby. What was a 4.5 second gap is now down to just over 2 1/4. Granted, there's a couple of lap trucks in there that might not make things easy, but last couple of times by, Worrell and Batby have been in lockstep. 25-1 for both of them. Michael Anthony, 25 dead. Lane Hosler, 25 dead. Parker Collins, 25-1. As did Greg Barnett, 25-1 last time by. So, I mean, your top 7 are right there speed-wise with each other. But we're still early in this current tire run. We're less than 30 laps in, as we're going to be halfway in this race next time by. Or this time by, I'm sorry. As Batby brings it off of turn number 4. As we get to the halfway mark, we are going to step away, pay a couple bills, and we'll be back right after this. And we are back at Iowa Speedway as we're watching your battle for third. It's Michael Anthony in the Balls Garana Toyota Tundra, and he is being stalked right now by Lane Hosler in the Hosler Fencing Ford F-150. Those two guys, though, have about 6.5 seconds to make up to try to reel in Chris Worrell, who is now starting to struggle just a little bit. I mean, the gap to Matt Batby, it's still doable. It's actually holding very close to about 2.5 seconds, and it all depends on who catches traffic where. But 2.5 seconds is the separation between those two. Checking back in here with there they are, Michael Anthony and Michael Anthony and Lane Hosler. As those two guys just duking it out right now for the final step of the podium currently. As Batby has lapped all the way up to 7th place, Kevin Becker, and there you can see Becker right in front of him. Becker in 7th. Goes down low. Batby goes to the top shelf, flirting with those marbles on the high side. That's not something you're going to want to do too often. Because if he does that too often, the right side of his truck is probably going to end up looking like the right side of Becker's truck, which, if we can get a shot of it here. There we go. Yeah, Batby does not want his truck to look like Becker's right side. So he's going to have to dispatch of him quickly here and get it pointed back in the right direction. But checking back in this battle for third, still hot and heavy. Hosler applying all sorts of pressure to the Iceman, Michael Anthony. Now, those of you wondering why I'm calling him the Iceman, you didn't see the move that man made on Friday night in an Indy car at Talladega. 4 wide coming off of turn 4 and won the whole gosh darn thing. You can go check back in the Sim Racing Media archives for that racing from Friday. What a race. And I mean, Anthony cool as a cucumber. As a matter of fact, it was a team lockout for the Balls Out Racing team, with Mike coming home in first, defending series champion Marcus Adams in that series coming home in second, and Chris Worrell took third. So think about that how you will. I mean, just it was one of the best IndyCar races I have seen in a long time. And probably one of the most terrifying for the drivers, being is they were regularly hauling off into turn number 3 north of 245 miles an hour. But we're seeing speeds just a tick slower here at Iowa, as just barely clipping 140 going into turn number 3. As Anthony and Hosler still just duking it out here. It looks like... Did he? Looks like Austin Carey may have caught the wall. See if we can get a right side view of that truck. Nope, no harm, no foul. He was flirting with it, though. He was thinking about it. Batby, Worrell, Anthony, Hosler, Collins, your top 5 as they currently sit. This battle for third is coming up on a gaggle of lapped cars. Jamie LaRoque in the HendrickCars.com Toyota, the Chevy Silverado. I can speak tonight, folks. I promise I can. It's going to be the first one that they're going to get to. And while not a battle for position in front of him, the 66 of Dan Sykes not having a good time of it in that U-Haul Chevy. Hosler looks to the inside, going into 3. Anthony going to try to defend from that second lane. Lets the truck run sideways as he tries to haul it down the track to get around the 66 of Sykes. That's going to let Hosler get right back to him. And that's got to be unnerving for Lane Hosler, as Dan Sykes unfortunately just disappeared for half the back straightaway. Oy. It had to have been unnerving knowing that Lane had a run and he had to jam on the binders to not end up with a passenger in his truck. In case you're wondering why we're watching this battle for third, so right now it's the only battle on track that's under a second. Something just happened with Jamie LaRoque on the front chute. Looks like he may have pounded the turn 4 wall. Let's go back and take a look at what did happen here. There you see LaRoque. Oh, yeah. It's got the old Spanish Archer from the 18 of Parker Collins, the old elbow, and around she went. Luckily, we stay green because we do have live race control tonight. Again, Fred Garcia, thank you so much for being live race control and for all that you do in this league. We'd all be lost without you, Fred. Be honest with you. And thank your wife for letting you do that, and hopefully you thank her on behalf of all of us here when this race is over. Meanwhile, while we're watching that, Lane Hosler has gotten by Michael Anthony. Let's go back and take a look at that pass. Anthony bangs the wall coming off of 4, opens, and there's a lot of right side damage on that truck. Good grief. Completely cheese grated the right side of that Toyota. And now Anthony is hemorrhaging time. So we go back live. That's Jamie LaRoque and defending series champion Greg Barnett. Barnett currently runs in 6th. Being scored as one of the last trucks on the lead lap. And here we go. It's that time again, folks. Parker Collins, the first one to flinch to bring it down pit road. There he is. Let's see who's going to get the undercut this time. Batby was one of the first ones last time, and that's what really opened up that lead for him. Leaves us with only 5 trucks currently on the lead lap, Barnett being the last as scored as such. Mike McCrate not having a night. This is one of those nights that, if you're Mike, you just chalk it up to experience. You got the show-up points. You're not dead last. Have a nice cold beer after this and get ready for next week. Because next week, we're all in at Sin City. So we go to Vegas. Lane Hosler and Michael Anthony come in together. Unfortunately for Mike, there's no fast repair here. Barnett in. Batby coming in this time. I would expect to see Worrell stays out. I would expect to see Worrell come in this next time by. As you can make it right around 56 laps. At least that's what this last one has been for Worrell and company. So you're now within you can make it from here territory. And most of these guys are still going to be laying a set when the checkered flag comes out. But with that undercut being as big as it is, Worrell has to come in now. Batby's already down and away after 4 in fuel for him. Effective race lead currently sits right now in 5th. As Worrell, Becker, and Tuck, the only 3 that have not been down for what essentially should be the money stop. Worrell charges the line, sideways, gets it locked down. Here comes Becker as well. There is Stephen Tuck, who just got his lap back the hard way. Last time by, Batby went purple in the first sector. Not quite fastest lap of the race yet, but his fastest lap of the race. Second consecutive lap for Batby at sub 24. And Tuck is finally in. my loose math, Worrell should be able to make it. Batby, Hosler, Collins, Anthony, and Barnett might be able to make it. And if they can't, that's going to open the door for Kevin Becker, who should be able to make it. But how many times over the past 2 weeks have we seen races on Sim Racing Media go into fuel mileage races? I mean, heck, we just saw one yesterday. Batby, though, on rails right now. 5.5 seconds to the good over your points. Current points leader coming into tonight, Chris Worrell. Let's take a quick look again at the points that we're coming into tonight. As there you see it, Batby and Worrell separated by 2. Now, they both have a bonus point for leading a lap. And, you know, it's a 2-point swing first to second. Nate Brown, unfortunately, is going to drop out of the top 3 after being a no-show tonight. But that's okay, because we have salt potatoes. But, yeah, I mean, this battle at the top for the championship, 2 guys competing in their first full-time season here in the CleanRacing.net championship. Actually, if you take a look at your top 5, 3 of those guys are first full-time season drivers. You know, not showing up after a couple races and still doing well, but competing since race 1 of this season. So, I mean, that just shows you the talent level that wants to run with the CleanRacing.net Truck Series. And if you want to run with the CleanRacing.net Truck Series, head on over to CleanRacing.net and you can find the information on how to join the league over there. You can see it right at the top of your screen if you're wondering how they spell it. Speaking of spelling it, you can also find Sim Racing Media on simracingmedia.com. You can also find us on Twitter at SimRacingMedia1 on the Twitterverse thing. Yeah. Aunt Mary checking in. Always good to have you with us, young lady. Unfortunately, James had problems under the first round of pit stops. Had to make a secondary pass-through as there he is in his debut race. Started 3rd. Currently runs in 13th. Good news is he and Chris Smith right in front of him in that Mobile 1 Toyota are on the same lap. That's Kyle McCrate. That's a lap down to both of them. Mike McCrate, also a lap down to both of them. And Kyle's Werner's Chevy is bucking like a Bronco back there. That is definitely no bueno. That's your race leader, Matt Batby, working to his inside. And Batby is hustling it right now, as he's already lapped defending series champion Greg Barnett in 6th. That means 5 trucks left on the lead lap. So there's Batby, your race leader, who started on pole. Chris Worrell, who started to his outside, currently runs in 2nd. Lane Hosler, who's +6, currently runs in 3rd. There's Parker Collins, who started 4th, currently runs in 4th. Michael Anthony, who started 5th, currently runs in 5th. And those are your only lead lap trucks left. We're going to check back in with this battle for 7th between Becker and Morrison. This is the second time tonight these two have gone door to door. And no, Virginia, you're not seeing things. That does say Bigfoot on Kevin Becker's Chevy. Nate Brown, you got some splaining to do, man. Morrison giving Becker all he can handle right now, is trying to keep him honest. That is your closest battle on track. As a matter of fact, our only battle under the 2-second mark. About a truck length and a quarter is now truck length. Half a truck. Door, quarter, clear. Becker using that outside lane to keep Morrison at bay for now anyways. You can see the heavy right side damage on Becker's 25. Okay, so we're going to need to talk to Kevin and find out what he was thinking. Yeah, no. I mean, it's a cool paint scheme. I freely admit that it's a cool paint scheme. But, yeah, no. Checking back here around James Lowe as he's going after Austin Carey right now. Following his teammate Michael Anthony, who sits in 5th around this place. Lowe has had the speed all night. It was just that one mistake speeding off that caused him to do a pass-through that really threw a monkey wrench into his debut here at Iowa. But we're going to be going into his wheelhouse next week as we go into the 1.5 miles at Vegas. Lowe definitely has the pace. And now Anthony's going to slide in behind him, trying to use him as a fuel pig, as we call it on the speedways, to try to conserve some fuel, as Anthony's going to try to make it home from here. Last down pit road on lap 106. Matt Batby was last down on 108. And we know they can get right around 50 laps out of a tank of fuel. And unfortunately, I'm thinking Parker Collins might be a lap or two short. Michael Anthony and Lane Hosler are going to be close. They are going to be dangerously close. As a matter of fact, they could possibly run out on that final lap. But Lowe came down on lap 111 with Chris Worrell. Those two guys should be able to make it, as they are inside the 50 to go mark. So we are currently 26 to go. Matt Batby in command of this one, but that lead that he had after that pit stop cycle, it was 3 seconds. No, I'm sorry, it was 4 seconds. It's now down to 1 3/4 seconds with 26 to go. Chris Worrell might not be a lot faster, but he's definitely chipping away at it. 25.13 to a 25.08 for Batsby and Worrell last time by. Lane Hosler 25.3, Parker Collins 25.5, Michael Anthony 25.2. And we're checking back here with this battle for 7th. That is Becker and Morrison still going after each other like two kids on the back seat of a minivan on summer vacation. Dad, he's touching me. Dad, don't make me turn this minivan around. Who are you trying to kid, Dad? You want to go to Dollywood just like the rest of us. Ah, yes, summers in Middle Tennessee. Batby continuing to show the way at the front of this piece. Lap Truck's doing a great job staying up and out of the way, not really... They're holding their line, and that's the beauty of this. You know, we've seen things go horribly wrong at other times in other leagues, but a lot of respect shown here in this league. And that's the refreshing part about doing this on a Monday night, and being as I'm doing it solo, is I see smoke. And Kyle McCrate looks a little bit worse for wear. Let's go back and take a look at what happened with Kyle here. Just back end stepped out coming off of 4. And he's fighting that thing to keep it out of pit road so he doesn't get popped for unsafe entry. No harm, no foul, other than self-inflicted harm, which is never good. 75 of Jeremy Morrison gets sideways coming off of 4. As we are 20 to go, and that lead for Batby, there it is. There's Batby working the inside of Carey, and you could see Chris Worrell 2 trucks back. Just 2 trucks separating 1 and 2 right now. About half the distance of the back straightaway as Worrell throws it to the inside. Carey goes down into the middle lane, and Worrell going to use the draft on the front chute here at Iowa. Now 3/4 of a second is all that separate Matt Batby and Chris Worrell. Michael Anthony in 5th. The next one in danger of going a lap down, as Batby is closing in on him pretty quick. And for those of you wondering what's going to happen when Batby gets to Michael Anthony, there's no team orders on Balls Out Racing. The only team orders are try not to kill each other. The second team orders are, if you are going to kill each other, make darn sure it's a Sports Center highlight for the next year. Anthony doing everything he can to legally stay on the lead lap. Batby stalking him as Worrell inches ever closer. Finally gets clear of Austin Carey. And now sets his sights on trying to reel in Matt Batby. Anthony taking the outer lane, giving Batby preferred line through the middle of the corner. Batby sends it down to the inside. Worrell now closes the gap to under 0.7 of a second. 14 laps to go. Batby continues to show the way. Worrell is trying to reel him in. After both sets of pit stops that we've seen under green flag, Matt Batby has gotten the undercut on Chris Worrell both times. And this is the closest Worrell's been to him since the opening salvo before the first round of pit stops. Half a second as Anthony gets up and out of the way, lets Worrell have a clean shot at Batby. He let Batby have a clean shot to get away from Worrell, and Batby took it as best he could, but Worrell's starting to really close the gap. Worrell's got a better entry into 3. Batby's got a better entry into 1. That's what I'm seeing here. As the gap goes out to 0.6 of a second. Down the back straightaway, Worrell gets a better run out of 2. Starts closing that down to half a second exactly, 0.4 of a second, going into 3 and 4 that time. 11 to go. Can Batby hold on? Oh my Lanta. Now 10 to go. Batby, Worrell, Hosler. Hosler not in this fight. He's 11.5 seconds to the rear of Chris Worrell. Worrell can see Batby. The only problem is Batby was 0.2 quicker that last time by. Worrell may have used his stuff up trying to pick his way through traffic to reel in Batby. The only thing he can hope is that Batby doesn't have enough fuel at this point. That's the only thing Worrell can hope for. Worrell can make it. He was inside 50 to go, and we saw that you could get 53 out of a tank of fuel. Batby, Worrell, Hosler, Collins, your only 4 trucks left on the lead lap. And up in front, you see Jamie LaRoque and Dan Sykes going door to door. That is not what Batby wants to see. However, it is what Chris Worrell wants to see. Sykes bounces off the wall coming off of 4. Batby on the top side has been running that top side through 1 and 2 all night. Sykes now way up on the top shelf. As Worrell lets it run coming off of 2, closes the gap back in to 0.4 of a second. Batby has to send it going into 3. We are 7 to go. It'll be 6 to go at the line. Worrell weaving in and out right now. A little bit of sketchy moment for Worrell in his Toyota. Trying to reel in the Chevy of Batsby. A Chevy leads a Toyota, which leads a Ford. I don't think we could have scripted this any better. Worrell now cuts it down to 0.3 of a second. Coming through the tri-oval, 5 to go. Does he have enough time to get by him if he can catch him? Because that's the one thing I always say, folks. Catching somebody's one thing. Getting by him cleanly, that's a completely different ball game. Batby, Worrell, and Hosler, your top 3 as they currently sit. 4 laps to go. Batby trying to hang on in that Exalta Chevy. The Balsgarana Toyota of Chris Worrell sits in second, and he's starting to lose time again. Bangs the wall coming off of 4. That's going to cost him. That is not what Worrell wanted to do at all. As you can see, the right front damage on that truck. He's now got to really be elbows up. 3 laps to go here at Iowa. Batby getting a better entry going into 1 and 2. Worrell gets a better entry into 3 and 4. This is kind of how they have been all night so far. Worrell trying to everything he can, trying to get every trick in the book out of that Toyota. 2 laps to go. Popsicle sticks in the air. Matt Batby just has to hold on for just under a mile and a half. Batby and Worrell have been 1-2 all night long. White flag in the air. We are racing back to checkers. Batby throws it into 1. He knows he's just got to keep Worrell behind him for another half a lap. Worrell driving the daylights out of that truck. There is Batby. Worrell sends it going into 3, almost gets into him, does get into the wall. Coming off of turn number 4, your winner At Iowa, Matt Batby. Chris Worrell hangs on for second. Lane Hosler coming out of turn number 4 now, half a lap behind that battle. Hosler, though, your biggest mover at +6, comes home in third. What a finish. Congratulations, Matt Batby. There you see the Exalta Chevy with the chrome doodads on there. As he is starting to burn them down now. And we're going to reach out to the man that was the class of the field all night. Matt Batby, congratulations on winning at Iowa.
Thank you very much.
It's been a long time coming. You kind of got robbed of one last week, but this week, nothing doing. You did what you needed to do.
Yeah, that ending was crazy. I really thought he was gonna get me there. I guess a couple fresher tires really do make a difference here, but
Well, you were
yeah.
showing that all night with the undercut you were getting on the rest of the field after pitting early.
Yeah, that definitely helps get me a couple second lead, and yeah, it definitely helped pull away a little bit.
How bad was the tire wear here tonight? I mean, when you were taking the tires on and off the truck for your pit stops, did you get a chance to look at that?
The left sides aren't as bad, but the right sides, they get shredded very bad. But yeah.
Well, we were seeing everybody have a loose situation trying to lay the power in coming off of 4. Was that something you were experiencing at all?
Yeah, right on the exit, if you have too much power on it, it just wants to spin right out on you. But if you feather it a little bit, you can make it stick.
Well, Matt, we go into and Matt, I just want to make sure I'm pronouncing your last name right. Batby?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Want to make sure because I'm notorious for screwing up last names. Just ask Chris. But we go into something completely different in the 1.5 miles at Vegas next week. What are your thoughts going into Sin City?
Yeah, I'm not very good at Las Vegas, but hopefully I can go out and do good, and got to learn it a lot this week. So last time we were there, I was hot garbage. So hopefully I can.
I'm
learn
hot
it a little
garbage
bit.
every time I go there. Matt, who do you need to thank after calling your shot for the second time this season?
Well, my brother, my mom and dad, the rest of my family, you guys for broadcasting, and anybody else who's watching it.
All right, Matt Batby, congratulations on winning here at Iowa. We will see you next week, sir, in Las Vegas.
Yep, see you guys then.
And joining us now, the man he just edged out for the win here tonight, and the man he also just edged out for pole position here tonight. Chris, are you second guessing your pit strategy, or do you think you could have done anything different?
I think the pit strategy is the only thing that got me close to him, to be honest with you. I was able to get in there really fast, which helped me out a lot. But yeah, the first time I waited 2 laps after he pit, before I pit, and I went in there because he just did his homework. He was just better than me all around. Not gonna make any excuses at all. So I figured, if maybe I can get like those 3 extra laps on those tires, I might be able to catch him. And those 2 extra laps, and it kind of worked on that first pit stop. So the second pit stop, I went 3 extra laps, and I was just running them down there at the end. I guess I'm gonna have to start doing my homework for this league, getting ready, because he's really good. He did a great job, and it was a lot of fun racing him. I gave it my all to get up there to him, but just couldn't do it.
I don't know if you peaked earlier, but you were coming into tonight number 1 and number 2 in points with Matt. You guys are going to leave here flip-flopped, and you're going into Vegas next week. What are your thoughts going into that 1.5 miles in Sin City?
The looking to win that one. Vegas, I have a lot of. I've ran Vegas a lot. I'm pretty good at Vegas, so it's not like Iowa where, I've ran here a couple times here and there, but so I should have a lot more experience. Should be able to put on a better race, but being the mile and a half, it'll be draft is going to be huge there. So I mean, that race could be up or down for me. Just hopefully we can stay up front and not get wrecked.
Yeah, absolutely. But Chris, I noticed that you had a third team member here tonight.
Yeah,
What did
James
you
Lowe.
have to do to finally talk James into running with this league?
I told him about it, and he asked me. So that's how much he's enjoyed the league. He
All right.
asked me if it was okay for him to get in or put in a good word for him, and I did. And he signed up, and thankfully we were able to get him in there tonight.
Why does that scenario sound familiar?
You tell me, Tim.
Well, Chris, again, congratulations on yet another podium this season. You and Matt have just been going after each other. But the one thing I have enjoyed is the fact that you guys have been showing a lot of respect between the two of you all season.
Yeah, I would like to say this is the first race where I really got to race him and see what he was about, and he's really good. He's gonna be tough competition. Should be fun competition. Got loose coming there. Might have had a chance at the pole that could have changed things, but yeah, he's gonna be hard to beat. But yeah, there's the last two races, Texas and Bristol. I just got lucky, finishing there with the cautions at the end. But it's finally good to get a chance to race him there. Look forward to racing with him again. Congrats, Matt, on the win. Thanks to James Lowe, Mike, my teammate, Fred for putting on the league, SRM, Tony, you for doing the broadcasts, and Balls Out Racing.
All right, Chris Worrell, again, congratulations on yet another podium on this season. Best of luck to you next week in Vegas.
Thanks, man.
And joining me now is the man who got the biggest mover award, driving that Hosler Fencing number 61, Lane Hosler. Congratulations on a podium after a qualifying attempt you probably just as soon forget.
Yeah, I kind of botched that qualifying lap, to be honest.
A lot of people did here tonight, especially with a 125-degree track temperature when you guys did roll for qualifying. But, you kept yourself calm, and you didn't overdrive the equipment, which is something that basically has become your modus operandi, as they would say in the movies, but or MO. You don't abuse your equipment, and it really showed tonight, bringing you home in third position.
Yeah, thank you. I really did just kind of set out to plan for the long run. I wasn't positive on what we were going to do on fuel, so kind of early in the run, I was trying to figure that out still a little bit, and then once we got, 15 or 20 laps in, I just started trying to click off consistent laps and kind of see where we ended up.
Well, you definitely were consistent. Highest running Ford all night. I'd like to point that out to you. Not that we're in a Ford-heavy field here in the CleanRacing.net Truck Series. But next week we go into a track that you've had some success at in the past as we go into Vegas. What are your thoughts going into that?
I honestly can't wait for Vegas. It's always one of those tracks that I never really circled it in the past, but I kind of figured out a few things through running Road to Pro, and it's helped out quite a bit. So now it's one of those ones that I look forward to.
All right, Lane Hosler, congratulations on the podium here tonight. Who do you need to thank before we let you go celebrate?
I'd like to thank Fred. I know he's in a hotel room somewhere watching tonight, and just like to thank him for putting this on.
All right, Lane Hosler, congratulations on the podium. We will see you next week in Vegas, sir.
Thank you.
And that is going to do it for the interview portion of tonight's show. Let's take a quick look at the finishing order. We just heard from Matt Batby, Chris Worrell, Lane Hosler, Parker Collins, and Michael Anthony rounding out your top five. Defending series champion Greg Barnett coming home in sixth. Kevin Becker, Jeremy Morrison, James Lowe in his debut coming home in 9th. Stephen Tuck rounds out your top 10. Kevin Hayes, Chris Smith, Austin Carey, Jamie LaRoque, and Kyle McCrate round out your top 15 with Mike McCrate, Dan Sykes, Dominic Rossi rounding out your top 18, and Fred Garcia in race control tonight. But that is going to do it for us here from Iowa. Be sure to join us next week for round number 5 at Vegas. And if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss a single moment of action here on Sim Racing Medias. We have racing 7 nights a week, folks. Let that one marinate. 7 nights a week, and a lot of times it's triple and quadruple headers. As a matter of fact, we've got a quadruple header on store for you tomorrow, starting off at noon Eastern Time with the Midday Racing League. So be sure to join us for that one. So on behalf of Fred Garcia and the entire CleanRacing.net Truck Series, this is Charles Your Passer, reminding you, ladies and gentlemen, until we meet again and as you walk down the road of life this week, whatever you do, don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.